What's up, guys? Welcome to the Chair Talk podcast. My name is Omar, and over here at the Chair Talk podcast, we are a guy-centered podcast that gets you weekly content. Make sure you guys follow us on all of our social medias like Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and everything else. All the links will be in our bio. But today we have joining us is one of my good friends, Trevor Synder. Him and I went to school together at Grand Valley. We were in the same fraternity. And yeah, Trevor, do you just want to tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a project manager for a construction company called Integrated Construction Solutions. I've known Omar for about 3 years now.
Something like that, yeah.
About 3 years. We met at Grand Valley State University. And there's a lot to my life. It's hard to summarize in a couple of sentences, but I'm in a relationship with this girl that I plan on marrying one day.
I hope you do.
I hope I do too.
I hope you do. I'm rooting for you too. We'll dive into that a bit later and talk about her and everything with relationships, since we haven't really talked about that on this show yet. But yeah, just going right into it. Me and you being in the same fraternity, what made you want to join ATO at Grand Valley State? Were you planning on joining ever since because you joined junior
year.
Junior, okay, yeah, because I joined sophomore year and then you joined junior year. So like, what made you kind of want to join junior year and not like freshman year or something?
Well, my first 2 years of college, I was pretty against fraternities, to be honest. When I first went into college, man, I always thought fraternities were for those like douchebags and the guys who just love to get drunk.
Right.
I was never that type of guy. In high school, I would go to parties, but I had a small friend group. I wasn't really a social dude. And so for my first 2 years of college, I was pretty bored, to be honest. Like, I had friends, but I went out to parties every once in a while, but I was never really that outgoing person. And I always wanted to be that kind of person. I always wanted to be the guy who would go out and be the life of the party kind of deal. And I never had that. And I always I regretted it up until my sophomore year. It became a point. It really became in a relationship that I was in that really determined where I wanted to go in life after it ended. And I kind of saw these bad parts of myself that I really wanted to fix. It was during COVID where I got this self-improvement thing. I was watching all these YouTube videos, and I took all this time of self-reflection because I didn't have anything to do. I wasn't working. I was at home, and I just saw this part of me where I knew I could grow. So, I wanted to be this social person, and joining a fraternity, which is like a complete opposite of who I was, what I really thought I would be doing. I decided that it'd be a good step in the right direction to see what I could change about myself. And, it really worked. I got out of my comfort zone. I ended up going to this Greek meet thing. It was in a parking lot outside of the rec center. And I met all these great people. I met Sam Halpern, who I met in my CIS class. I basically helped him get an A in that class because I was pretty good at school, but I legitimately helped that dude get an A. Our teacher let us help each other on exams. So I gave him all the answers to the exams and got him an A in that class.
And you do?
Yeah. And he kind of convinced me to join it. I was already kind of set in my mind, but I ended up doing it, and I met a lot of people. I met you, and
there we go.
I really stepped out of my comfort zone and helped me become more of an extroverted person, even though I was introverted for the first 2 years of college.
Yeah, that's cool. I kind of agree with that. Because I joined sophomore year. That freshman year, I was a little bored because like freshman, all you do is literally go to like house parties and like just parties at apartments and stuff. And it was cool, but like I wanted something more. I wanted to get more friends, and of course, like what's the best way than joining a fraternity, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like hearing about you. I think a lot of people can relate, not in an identical sense, obviously, but like the past 2 years when a lot of stuff's kind of slowed down, it's opened up a lot of opportunity to like self-reflect. And I admire you challenging yourself like that, because obviously we've talked before on this podcast, but like Omar and I are a little different as far as like introvert, extrovert. And I myself didn't have a direct outlet to join a frat like you, but I definitely applaud and admire you just jumping in like head first, even if it took you a little time to warm up to it. That's the only way we met, through Omar. And it's a pleasure to know you and hear this like background story of like what brought you to that point where we were able to meet. Is really cool. And I can tell that you've grown a lot through it.
Yeah, it's definitely changed quite a bit. Even my friends have said it. I've had friends since high school that I've known. They're just like, dude, you've changed a lot. And I was like, yeah, like, but it
For
takes
the better
work.
though, right?
Yeah,
For the
for the
better.
better, for sure. I mean, it's helped me with my career. It's helped me with relationships. Like really getting yourself out there and getting out of your comfort zone definitely changes the path of your life, whether you realize it or not.
Yeah. Kind of like going over to what were kind of someone, because both of you and I, we both lived in the house, fraternity house, our senior year. What were kind of some of your favorite moments within the fraternity, like between you and I, just with our friend group? Because actually, like you and I, we didn't start talking until our senior year. Because like yeah, when you joined, we didn't talk whatsoever. And then we kind of just we lived right down the hall from each other in our senior year in the house, and then we kind of were forced to talk to each other. And then yeah, we started hooping, go to the gym together and stuff. So we're kind of like some memories that stood out to you just from senior year.
My memories, I didn't, junior year, it was when I was first getting like kind of into the groove of fraternity. I met some people, it was mostly my pledge class and everything. But my senior year, when I decided to live in the house, I kind of was talking to Hunter about it, and we decided to just, kind of go for it. He introduced me to you, and we
Mm,
ended up going to play basketball. Like one of the
okay.
first days that I was there is when I met you in the house.
Yeah.
Um,
So I
but
remember Hunter told me that because I didn't start talking to him until senior year also. And he told me that the whole reason why he didn't want to talk to me because he thought I was like a dick. And that's I was like, I mean,
it's fairness. You can come
it's
off that way when you first picture.
yeah, it was fair. But yeah, I mean, I was super happy with that because I mean we had movie nights every other night in my room, which was pretty awesome. And yeah, we went to go hoop and live together. And it's definitely, yeah, I would not give up that senior year again. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of like where my favorite memories come in. Like I've always been a personable guy. I like making connections with certain people, not groups of people, which kind of goes back to my introverted self. But my best memories have always been with my closest friends and becoming
Yeah.
friends with you. You've introduced me to a lot of people, especially in the fraternity and the house. My closest memories is just us, like me, you, John, Hunter, Paulo, Marine, Genevieve, all just in the basement chilling after a night of drinking or something. And we're just having a great time by ourselves. Like those are always been my favorite memories. It was never those huge parties that we had or whatever.
Yeah.
It was those moments we had as close.
The smaller ones that I actually remember. I mean, yeah, those big parties were fun and everything, but it's just those times when literally it was just that core group or whatever it may be, like just those little, just I don't know, playing flip cup together or doing literally whatever with each other.
Sometimes it's like it's who you're with, not
Yeah.
what you're doing with people.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how I've always been, make
And you and
connections
I,
with
we
people.
definitely have had our a fair share of like emotional talks together. I think that's what kind of got us closer too, because I know both you and I, and then like all the other guys in the group, we definitely had our fair shares of laughs and tears together, which was pretty
We really
pretty cool
have,
to go through
man.
and everything. And then those memories will keep us. I mean, we're gonna stay friends for the rest of our lives, go to each other's weddings and all that stuff. So I mean, just like that, we've known each other since junior, senior year, and now we're friends for the rest of our lives. It's pretty cool to think about.
Absolutely. And I think that's what a fraternity is all about, as much as people say that it's like you pay to be friends, you pay to
Yeah.
party, whatever, but it's like those super close relationships you end up developing in the fraternity that really matters. I can say I got a bunch of friends in the fraternity, whatever, but none of that really matters after you graduate. What matters is like those close relationships you end up developing, like the
Yeah.
actual close, real
Yeah.
relationships that you can develop outside of fraternity as well.
Yeah. Yeah. We got to get you out in Chicago here too. We got to come out here again. I think we were talking in the next couple of months or so. So we got to get you out here and then we'll get Braden around here too. So I'll start hanging out, hit the bars again to each other. That'd be cool.
Absolutely, man. I love Chicago. When me and Hunter visited that one time, and Nick and Coley were there, dude, that was a blast. We went
Yeah.
out.
It's a fun time. But yeah, do you want to switch over
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
jobs a
I
little
want
bit?
to, hear a little bit about what you do. So obviously it was good to cover some background, how where I'm at, frat life, kind of lessons learned and how you developed as a person, which I'm really interested in. I'm happy to hear that of yourself. But where it's put you now in your career path, could you just discuss a little bit about kind of your day-to-day operations and what it's like doing your job?
Well, like I said earlier, I'm a project manager for a construction company. It's a smaller company, but it's like a multi-million-dollar company. Like we do really well for being small. Like It's me, my best friend Jackson, and his dad Pete. We're all in the office. Pete is the owner of the company, and then we got about 12 field employees that do the hands-on work. I first started in high school. Originally, I was a busser at this place called Wilson's Bar and Grill, and I absolutely hated it. I made basically no money there.
Busing sucks. I've
Busing
done that
was
before. It's terrible.
terrible, man.
You're just at the
So
bottom of the food chain.
you really are, dude. You really are. And it wasn't fun. But my friend ended up coming up to me, and it was like the middle of the class. I ended up leaving class to go to the bathroom or something. And I saw him, and he offered me this job for like $15 an hour. And I was like, dude, yes, $15 an hour. Are you kidding me? A senior in high school, man, I'm for it. So I ended up working with them. We started at this. It was a hotel called the Radisson, and we had a blast, dude. Like we would go out and we would just basically we would build beds and furniture, move mattresses. We would ride up in the elevator with like 5 mattresses in there that sit on top of the mattresses. The doors would open to the elevator, and people were just outside just staring at us when they opened. It was just like it was just a bunch of random stuff, man. And we would go get Thai food afterwards. So it started off really fun. It was like me and like 5 friends doing that, and progressively people started leaving, but I ended up staying, and Hunter ended up staying as well. And we did some crap jobs, man. Like I had a job where I shoveled literal poop out of like a 5-story building, like just the stairway. They wanted to do a walk through the building, but there was like poop covered every single step up this entire building.
How'd
We
it
had
get there?
From like animals
people or animals?
both. Dude,
Oh,
people like it was
what
like
building is this?
it was an abandoned building. It was
Oh.
abandoned. There was bullet holes in walls, windows shattered, like everything, like things boarded up. It was crazy, dude. Like it was a nasty building. Like if you think of like an abandoned crack house, that's basically what this was.
Jeez.
Yeah, dude. And I ended up shoveling crap off of every single stairwell for 3 of these buildings while it was pouring rain outside. It was just water leaking.
That's disgusting. That's disgusting.
It's like the nastiest stuff that you can think of. Like I've pretty much done. I've gotten poison ivy all over my body from clearing out alleyways. I've sweated in like 90-degree heat while shoveling clay and just digging holes. It's a bunch of stuff. Like
You feel like those gross jobs kind of built you up though? Like gives you a little blow, ego and physically, but then like you accomplish it and you're just like, if I can shovel poop off stairs in the rain, I could probably do anything, right?
yeah, dude. Yeah, pretty much. Like, I mean, you get this. My hands are all messed up because of it. Like, I got scabs all over, whatever. But I mean, there was. I don't know if you guys know about Midland, but there was this dam that broke in Midland, and it flooded a bunch of apartment complexes, and we had to go through and demo all of these like bottom floor apartments, and there was poop on walls and stuff where pipes burst and just soaking wet carpet that we had to lift out. Like it's stuff like that where you just kind of do it and it's miserable, but you get this sort of accomplishment out of it because you're like, you know what, like it sucked, but I did it.
Yeah.
Like I did it.
That's-
And I
So,
ended up, oh, go ahead.
no, you.
I ended up working up to it and I got promoted.
That's what I was gonna ask you.
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say, where's this lead?
Where are you at now?
Yeah, they gave me an internship for a couple of summers and I worked my way up and now I'm a boss. Like I'm the one who tells people to go clean
Go get
shit
those
off
poop.
the stairwell. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't have to do it myself. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
What do you
Yeah.
like? So your position now as a boss, what do you kind of like, but also is there anything you dislike about your job right now? Or like, do you plan on staying here for the next couple of years? So like later down the line, or like, where do you kind of see yourself in the next 5 years? You still see yourself a company or 10 years or?
It's tough because like I said, it's my best friend's dad's company. And there's 3 of us in the office. So it sucks because sometimes I work until like 7 o'clock. Like I would legitimately work until like 7 to 7 some days, but I don't get any overtime pay. So I'm like busting my ass, dude. And I'm getting paid like $50K a year, you know. Jackson, it's Pete's son, so he gets paid more than me. But I'm still getting paid like most of these field guys. And it makes me think like am I getting paid enough? Like, am I doing this right? Like, I don't know a lot about construction, but I'm like busting my ass for this. But the main reason right now that I'm staying is because I don't want to, I don't want to screw them over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I love these guys, dude. I've been friends with them since high school, man. Like his dad, I'm super close with. Jax, I'm super close with. And it's just three of us in the office. So if I
Yeah,
leave,
if you leave, it's a third of the office gone right there.
yeah, they're screwed. They're screwed. So like, I'm almost, as much as I like it in some aspects, I really dislike it in some aspects, but I still feel stuck in a way because if I leave, then I screw them over. But I feel like if I left, I could find a better job somewhere else that
Yeah.
didn't have to do with construction.
Because would you major in again in school?
Business management and then minor in marketing.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Because I know my cousin, he is actually a construction manager, project manager, whatever it's called, in Chicago. And he gets paid really good. Like he got his skyrise apartment, his first apartment in downtown Chicago when he was like 24, 25, just from that. And so what he does, he does like the concert venues. So like at Lollapalooza, he's in charge of all like the construction that goes on with it, and like at Country Thunder or like all these other country concerts. And a big perk for that is he gets free tickets to all these like festivals, so like Lollapalooza and everything. So I mean, hey, maybe we should come to Chicago and see if you can work some magic over here or something.
Dude, that would be awesome if I can get some free tickets to Lollapalooza.
I mean, yeah, that's cool because he texts me all the time. Because I mean, he just has connections because he gets like free Chicago Bulls tickets, free tickets to Lala. He gets backstage passes, like he gets like RVs full of like Tito's and everything, just because like Tito sponsors them and everything. So I mean,
Nice.
hey, so I mean, I would stay within construction, but like find the right company and then they'll treat you right, I guess. But yeah, that's just a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the dynamic, obviously everything has its benefits and drawbacks, but like working with a close friend and a family and like a father that you respect, obviously not your own, but your friend's father. Going back, like, would you, and you don't have to disclose whatever, you can say as you wish, but like, if you could have it differently, would you, in regards to the relation that you have with your boss?
I wouldn't change the relationship I have with my boss, but if I could take it back, I'd probably just decide to do something else after college, just see what I could do. Because like I said, I was doing this since high school, man. So besides my busing position at this, low class bar and grill or whatever, I haven't had any other work experience. So, no matter what I do at this point, it always makes me wonder what I could have done and if I could have done it better. But with any aspect, with any job you end up choosing, you're always going to think like, could I have done it better? Could I have chosen a different job, a different path that could have been better? And I mean, I've had a lot of good experiences with this job. I mean, I've learned a lot with what I've been doing because I do a lot of different stuff. I'm learning a lot of different experiences. I meet a lot of different kinds of people. I meet people who from the outside seems like pieces of shit. And then I meet people who you think are going to be decent people and then end up being idiots or end up being really mean. And so, you, like you said, you get pros and cons from every job. But if I could have done it different, I probably would have just seen the other options I had rather than just kind of go back to what I was doing since high school.
Gotcha. I respect hearing that. And obviously you speak highly of this position and aspect. So hopefully at the end of the day, your head hits the pillow and you reflect like this, you're in a good spot, it seems. And obviously, like, even looking back, if you feel you could have spent time or like directed your efforts otherwise, like, it's put you in the position you're in today. And obviously through discussing with you, like, your headspace, your trajectory, like you're going to build, and I know you're going to move on to do tremendous things within this company or wherever you take your talents and your efforts. But it's cool hearing about that, because I don't think, like, for us, at least, I've never worked willingly for somebody. Like, I've built close relationships with bosses or like have built respect, but like going into a position with an already existing connection relationship, like that would be a different dynamic. So I was just,
I don't know if I don't think I've ever done that, going into someone like kind of like it's a family friend or a family member.
It's not too bad. You kind of can just say what you want.
Yeah,
you can kind of do what you want to a certain extent. You got to respect
freedom, like looseness. To
yeah, you still gotta respect that you're your boss, like I've never had a problem with that. I always respected, they've always known more than me than with construction. And I respect Pete a bunch. He's a super smart dude. And he knows so much about construction. That dude is a genius. But like it really becomes to the point where if you want to leave, it's really hard to leave. There's a loyalty aspect in that. Like I don't want to screw them over, and I don't know if I will ever be able to. If they come a point where they're all set and everything, like yeah, like I'll feel free to leave. But right now, I'm almost trapped because I'm a loyal dude. Like I'm really loyal to the people I love. So I'm almost trapped.
Great quality to have.
Right, it is. But at the same aspect, loyalty to me can almost be problematic to the person who is loyal.
It all depends on the situation.
It does depend on the situation, but loyalty isn't really a selfish thing. It's more for other people. So if it's a personality trait, I think loyalty is mostly based off of other people's feelings rather than your own. Like you can love someone, be loyal to them, but does it really help you more than it helps the other person?
Yeah, you kind of got to gauge the benefit of a relationship with, if it's a business relationship, a personal relationship. I get what you're saying. Yeah. And I would agree with you that loyalty is more of a selfless thing than selfish.
Yeah.
It is. And it can kind of be a drawback in some aspects if you're truly loyal to someone. Like, you can talk about cheating. Like, what if you really want to cheat, but you don't want to hurt the other person? Like I've never wanted to cheat on my current girlfriend. That's never crossed my mind. But I've wanted to leave the company, but I don't want to do that because I'm loyal to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also another thing too, that's hard too, is just, especially our age, is like the job search. Cause I know a lot of kids our age right out of college struggle to find that like full-time job, just because a lot of these companies, they want like this 3 to 5 years of experience already, which I mean, we're just out of college. How are we supposed to get this experience if we're not getting hired? So I mean, is that kind of another reason why like you're kind of staying, or does that not have to do anything with it since you've kind of already been in this with this company for a couple of years? Because like, do you think if you left, do you think it would be pretty easy to find another job within this field? Because I don't know much about construction at all.
If I left, I wouldn't go back into construction. If I was going to be in construction, I would stay with this company. It really comes down to a point of, do I want to be in construction for the rest of my life? Because I've had some piss poor experiences in construction. And when you start working construction, you can see the negative aspects of it. Like you can see the kind of people you're going to be working with. You're going to see the kind of things you're going to be doing. And it's not all daisies. Like I'm sure you can imagine that a lot of the stuff is not fun. So it comes down to the point of like, if I were to leave, or if I'm going to leave in the future, when do I want to do it? Because when it comes down to experience, I could quit right now and then I could go to a job and then I'll be like, what, a year behind? I graduated last year, so I'll only be a year behind. That's nothing. Like it's basically starting over. Let's say I work here for 5 more years and then I decide I don't want to do construction anymore, and then I'm 5 years behind. So it's tough, like when you decide to leave and go to a different industry, it's a totally different thing, just depending on how long you stay in the industry you're currently in.
Yeah. And I'd encourage you to be a little slightly more optimistic, because like spending those years in an industry, even if you transition, I don't know, and this goes for everybody, like I don't know necessarily like behind is like a right mentality to have. Like obviously you seem like a very reflective, like internal person as far as like mentality and approach with life. But like even if you took 5-10 years and opted out of it, like you're going to have a skill set and experience that's unique to whatever job you bring, that you transition to. So I think whatever time you devote to something, as long as you're doing it with good intentions, I wouldn't, like for your own sake, I wouldn't put you, like if you were applying for Omar's company or my company, say if this podcast was a company and we hear you coming in with with a year of experience in construction, like that's not no experience, that's a year in construction, even if it's in a different industry. I still think it has value, and I think other people would perceive it as such too. Would you kind of agree, Omar? Like,
yeah, and no, just because like me personally, I have been in that job search because like you guys know, like I've been doing freelance graphic design, even though it's a completely different field than construction. companies do, at least in my field, and I know a lot of other fields, they do weigh experience within like your field very, very heavy. Like I said, a lot of these companies I've been applying for, even though I have like this year and a half of freelance experience, like being my own manager, and running my own business, they want this like 3 to 5, 6, 7 years of experience. So, I mean, I don't know. It all depends on like what position you're going for. I don't know. That's just my kind of opinion. But also like, again, like I said, it's kind of, I don't necessarily agree with that. Yes, experience is good, but like we're just out of college. We have a lot of knowledge. We just came out of a 4-year degree. Like we're young, we're hungry and eager, ready to go. And I think we could bring a lot to the table. It's just, yeah, these companies weigh experience, I think, a little too heavy. But that's just my opinion on it.
Yeah. Management for you, Trev, like you're a Swiss Army knife in business now. Like
Yeah.
if you,
Yeah.
I think managerial skills are a lot of like intangible stuff that like really can't be taught. It has to be learned through experience. Like, I don't know your reflection. Like I was a business student. I didn't study management. But a lot of textbook stuff, like it doesn't directly correlate to success in the field or with your job. I'm even since that I'm in grad school, some of the textbook stuff and just like relating to professors, like you don't learn how to talk with people. You don't learn how to interact with your peers or your coworkers. Like, so your experience in construction as a manager, like you can manage anything. And it seems like that's what you're hinting on. Like you'd stay in management, but just a different kind of field, right?
Right. Yeah, I would stay in management for sure. I really like management. And I do feel like I've gotten a lot of skills based off of, you know, kind of dealing with different personality traits. With construction, the employees that we get are kind of different than what you'd probably get in a regular corporation. You know, like these guys, you know, have 3 baby mamas. Some of them are felons, you know, like drug dealers. You deal with a bunch of different kinds of people in this kind of field. And you know, if I were to switch to someone where I'm dealing with people who are just like more like me or you guys who just kind of went straight out of college, got a job, you know, I know how to deal with them too, because I've been friends with them my whole life. So I feel like it's really giving me a perspective of 2 different types of life that someone could go through, like someone who doesn't go to college, ends up becoming a drug dealer kind of thing, and baby moms. And people who do the opposite, you know, go to college, end up getting their degree, getting a real job. Like I've seen both aspects of this. And I think it's actually given me a lot of perspective on life in general rather than just jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that's
wonderful.
cool. Well, yeah, I mean, hey, if you ever like leave your company, I could hook you up with my cousin in Chicago. I'm sure he'd take good care of you over there. So just let me know. I could give him a quick text. But yeah, kind of. Do you have anything else about this topic at all?
Yeah, no, I think like what you were hinting to, and I'd give you an opportunity if you don't have anything else to speak on that, kind of extrapolating what you talked about getting to know different, not classes of people, but just like backgrounds and types and recognizing the different perspective between different paths people take in life. But I think what you were getting to is pretty valuable and stuff also.
Yeah.
That there's, again, I keep hammering it, but like this podcast, you can learn something for everybody. It doesn't matter what their background is, for the good or the bad or the ugly, like whatever they've done in the past. Like there's things to learn from people. Maybe it's what to do, what not to do. But I think it's cool that you've had experience, and I would value that. Like I would love for an opportunity to be in something similar, maybe not for a career or like the same amount of time as you, but like one of those, like, I don't know, like a Dirty Jobs episode in a sense where you can just like get to know a different group of people and be able to relate and excel your skill set in communicating with all sorts. Cause yeah, going to college is great, but you learn how to talk to a very like small group of people. Like everybody's alike in a similar sense as far as like academics and kind of pursuits of career, but catching people on the other side, like as you're saying, the extremes, like the drug dealers and the people who have children with multiple women. That's not a great life choice if I'm giving advice to anybody out there, but it's probably cool hearing their perspectives and stuff. So the only thing I'd throw back is if you have anything deeper to share about that deeper connection to life that you've grown from those perspectives before we transition topics, I'd love to hear it.
You know, if there's one thing I would say, it's the classic verse, don't judge a book by its cover. These people that I meet, as long as you show people respect in general, whether it's like a homeless person or whether it's just like a construction guy or someone you meet on the streets, whatever, if you show them respect, there's a good chance they will give you a decent amount of respect back. People, they value respect. Like every single person I've met, as long as you're like kind to them, you show them respect, like they will show it back. I haven't met a single person where you're like respectable towards them and then they just kind of like shit on you, try to punch you in the face. Like they're not like that. Like I think it's a common misconception is that these people are angry and judgmental and like these crackhead kind of vibes. Like as soon as you meet them, like they're not like that. Like every person I've met, you can have a casual conversation with them, treat them like a normal human being, treat them like your best friend, treat them like, some person you meet in a suit. Like they will treat you exactly how another person will treat you. Like just show them respect. It doesn't matter. Like give them a little bit of attention. If like some crackhead is on the streets, like, hey, give me $5, like don't ignore him and walk away. Look them in the eyes and be like, you know what, man, I don't have any money. I'm sorry. And then they'll leave you alone. Or maybe, there's some that I've had people say, they'll get up in your face and be like, come on, white boy, like, $1, like whatever. But for the most part, man, just be kind to these kind of people. Like they don't deserve any disrespect. You're not better than them. Like just be nice to them. There's no reason not to. Well, what are you gonna lose by showing people some kindness,
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
that's
that's good.
awesome.
That's
yeah,
good.
respect, like kindness, just like love for people. If you give it, you receive it. And I think it's important for people like us who kind of less on our plates, less to worry about in life, in a sense, that we can reflect and recognize that doing little things and treating people, it's a basic thing, but it gets overlooked. Treating people like you'd like to be treated, it can go a long way. So I'm very happy to hear that. And that's a great lesson for our audience too, who doesn't have the opportunity to interact.
You'd be surprised how many people are just mean for no reason. It's crazy.
Yeah. It'll be better if not. People were just kind to each other.
Just be nice. Love everyone. Everyone love
Play
everyone.
nice.
Yeah, play nice. That's good. We're kind of switching over. Another main topic, relationships. We haven't really talked about this on the podcast yet, from like guys' point of view or even any point of view. So real quick, do you want to just tell the audience what relationship you're in now? Because I mean, I personally have known her through you for I've known her for, I like to think it feels like years, just because like she was always over at the house. But do you want to just kind of tell the audience a little bit about her right now?
Do you mind if I give a little bit of backstory of my past relationships before?
Go for it. Yeah.
It leads up pretty nice to where I'm at right now. So early in my life, I was terrified of girls. I will admit it. I was not good with girls. I didn't want to speak to them. Like in middle school, and honestly, in elementary school, middle school, I was kind of a player, but I was still afraid to talk to girls. But girls, I was kind of like building myself off a bit. I'm still afraid to talk to them. Like, dude, like all these girls like me, but it was like those relationships where you just kind of don't talk to them, but you're dating kind of thing. High school, I didn't date anybody. I didn't have anything with anybody. It was mostly senior year when I first started kind of getting into that. I started getting a little bit more confidence kind of deal. But my relationship before Genevieve was with this girl named Hannah. And she was the first kind of love that I had. I don't really think it was love when you look back on it, but it was going well. She was very emotionally distant at some point. She pissed me off quite a bit, and she was kind of a bitch at some times, But I liked it. It was the first real relationship I ever had. I never dated anybody more than 3 months before her. I ended up dating her for 5 months, which still doesn't mean anything now. 5 months.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, like think like in the time you're like, oh, 5 months, man, this is getting serious. But like,
Dude, it feels long. Like it feels long, but then like after you look back and you're like 5 months. That was it. But it feels like in the moment it feels long.
Yeah, like now I'm dating Genevieve, man. We're over a year. It feels like like 2 months,
Yeah.
But like in an aspect of time, but like the love, of course, grew so much through that year. It's crazy. But with Hannah, I was in my internship with, my construction job, and I was actually at a job. It was in July. My birthday is July 6th. It was like July 1st or something. It was like really early in July. And I was at a job in Lansing, and we were doing some demo on a roof. I'm not going to get into it, but it was like 90 degrees outside, and I was on a blacktop roof. and I get a text from her, this long paragraph.
Oh
And
no.
she basically just broke up with me over text,
Oh.
right? It was like 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. It was on a
Good way to
Monday.
start the day.
It was on a
Sucks.
Monday, dude. Week before my birthday, like a little bit before 4th of July, I get a text from her saying that she wanted to break up. Dude. She was miserable. Dude. I
That
was
sucks.
It's tough by her. Have some feel.
Yeah.
messed up, dude. And I was
Respect
like,
your
yo,
birthday.
She
And
just
America's birthday too.
She just didn't even want to get you a present. That's why.
she actually did give me a present. It gets worse, but she texted me. She texted me, and I was like, yo, like we should talk about this. Like, can we meet up in person? And she just didn't respond. She didn't respond for like 2 days, and then eventually, like on like it was like a Wednesday or something. She was like, all right, let's talk.
She let
And I
it
go over
slip.
there, dude. It was messed up, right? And I go over there, and I go to her house, and she ends up giving me birthday presents. Like, it was good birthday presents too. Like, it was still shirts that I have, and I'll wear them because I like them.
That's right. Yep.
They're nice shirts. It was like a North Face shirt, right? It was like a North Face long sleeve shirt.
Good stuff.
I love that shirt, but I don't like her. And she gave me like personal stuff, and she's like, it's not working out right now, but maybe in the future, kind of deal. Like,
One of those.
it was one of those, man.
Yeah.
One of those.
If it's meant to be, we'll get back to okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So I was like miserable for like months after that, man. And
Yeah.
the worst part of it is we scheduled all of our classes while we were dating. So I had all these classes with her the next semester after that. So we actually became friends again during this because of course I still liked her.
That's good though. I mean, at least because I know a lot of relationships, especially were you guys were friends before you guys started dating, I'm assuming?
Not really.
Okay. Because I know a lot of relationships, they are two like really good friends that try dating and then they date and then they just don't talk afterwards. That was, with a certain someone that I had a hard time getting over. Her and I were like best friends, and then now we don't even talk. So I mean, that's a tough thing about going into a relationship with a good friend. Is like you're putting each other at, if it doesn't work out, you're risking it. It's a high risk, high reward, but also So I mean, but that's good that you guys stayed friends afterwards.
Well, kind of. It's we ended up staying friends, and it was kind of a forced friendship because we had all these classes together, And then I ended up joining the fraternity, and she kind of shit on me for joining the fraternity, but I did it anyway. But she was holding me back. That's why junior year I wasn't really present in the fraternity because I was always hanging out with her. And then senior year, I finally ended up cutting it off. It was like the day I moved into the house, I cut it off with her. Like, I straight up, I told her I didn't want to hang out with her anymore, or whatever. And then I ended up becoming friends with you, and then I ended up being friends with everybody, and then all of a sudden I was a social person. It was
because we would go out, we went out a lot and just talked to whoever and stuff.
Right. It was that self-reflection, dude. It was that junior year where I finally just kind of said, fuck this girl. I don't want to do this anymore.
That's right.
And I finally cut her off, and then all of a sudden my life just changed. I became this person who was finally social. I wasn't hanging out with her anymore. I was hanging out with a bunch of different people. I cut her off, and I became this really more extroverted person. I was happier. I told her, I don't talk to her anymore. She tried talking to me. I basically just kind of nudge her off. I don't talk to her. I don't want to go back to all of that. I don't want to go back to where I was.
Right.
I'm happy.
You're a better person now, which is good.
I am, and I'm proud of myself for finally cutting her off because I was so tied up with her. And she actually kind of begged for me back at one point. And it was that moment.
Feel a little better, makes you feel good, but then still like screw her at the same time, right?
Yep.
Exactly, man. I was finally at
Breaks your heart.
I was like, no. Yeah, I was like, no, I don't want this. It's finally my turn to say no. You go. I don't want to do this anymore. And then eventually I ended up meeting Genevieve because of it. I went through this whole stage of self-reflection.
I remember when you first met her. I remember when
Yeah,
you first met her, like you were like I think it was your class. She was in your class. Like you had a
she was in
project or
my
anything.
team building class.
Yeah, I remember you brought it up to the guys and everything. You're like, dude, this girl's like nice.
Yeah, dude, she
Yeah,
was
you were happy about it, right? Yeah, you were happy about that.
yeah, she was awesome, man. And
Yeah.
eventually I was just, of course I was worried about it, getting into another relationship after what happened with Hannah, but I met her and I was just ready for it. I was like, this girl is really awesome. She's
Yeah.
different than all these other people I've been talking to. Like she's something else. And I just went for it. And after that, dude, it was like nothing I've ever experienced before. She was like, when you meet someone you truly love, like your soulmate, um, I feel like you really do know. Whether
Yeah.
people agree with that or not, I have felt that with Genevieve, and I haven't looked back ever since.
And you guys have been dating for around a year, you said?
Yeah, it's over a year. We started dating November 24th.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I could testify to that too, because I mean, I've known her. She's known her all senior year because she would always be at the house. We'd always hang out. And yeah, dude, she's an awesome girl. She's an awesome girl. One thing that's kind of unique about her, like not to like I guess like bash on other girls, but she's from what I could tell, just seeing her all the time, like she seems like a very confident girl. She's confident in herself and what she does, and like she carries that, which is very like when you meet her, you're like, this girl means business, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, she'll talk to anyone. She's a social butterfly, which is pretty cool. Every time she always hangs out with all the guys. I would consider her as one of our crew, like one of the guys. So, cause yeah, she always watched movies with us and everything. So yeah, Jenna, you got yourself a good one, which is cool.
That's what I really love about Genevieve. She really is a social butterfly and can get along with legitimately anybody. That's something that I've never really saw in myself, and I've always strived to be. If you find something in a partner that you really want yourself.
Yeah.
And, she's so smart. She's so sociable. We get along so well. And I mean, we're both super, like I said, I was a loyal person. You can tell from where I am in my job, but I would never cheat on her. I would never do anything to hurt that girl. Like she means the world to me, and I feel like you really need that in a relationship. Like if you want a relationship to work, you guys got to be on the same page. I know she's on the same page as me. Like I know she would never fuck me over. Like she's there for me and I'm there for her. And I feel like the communication, loyalty, and just a good connection can lead a relationship to pretty much anywhere you want.
Yeah.
No, that's really good.
Yeah.
I appreciate the backstory too, and not to like dwell on a negative because we'll spend more time on like the positives and like what you learned through it. But would you say that going through kind of the bad times is what gave you a foundation, like to know how to handle and preserve the good that you have currently? Like, is failing necessary to learn about yourself and how kind of like relationships work to then be successful and kind of value what you have after the fact with somebody better?
Yeah, I do. I think you can really learn from mistakes, and I know it's kind of a cliche thing to say, but I mean, if you actually evaluate your mistakes, you can learn a lot from them. With me and Hannah, we communicated all right, but the connection wasn't really there. I mean, the emotion was kind of fading, but I kind of tried to push it even though it wasn't really there. Like what I learned is that it kind of comes if it's there, you can see that it's there, and there's no reason to force love if it's not present, and you can learn a lot from yourself. You can learn a lot from past mistakes just based off the experiences you have. I, I really think that my relationship with Hannah had a huge impact on who I became as a person. And I
Yeah.
think me becoming this new person helped me develop a relationship that I can be proud of.
Yeah. I think every relationship, like me personally, I think every relationship that doesn't work out, it kind of like shows you like what you want in a relationship. Maybe like I don't know, maybe communication wasn't there, and then you learn, maybe you didn't know this in the moment, but then you learn, like realize, oh, like I want someone who I can communicate really well. Or maybe like jealousy got involved or something like that, and then you realize like, oh, I want someone who is not so jealous all the time. Just like things like that, you learn you like pick up on things that you want in like your next relationship that will kind of hopefully lead to a full like marriage. But that's what I've learned. Cause yeah, I've been, I think 3 or 4 relationships, and each one that hasn't worked out, from like high school to college, I've learned what I want like in a relationship, which is good. You live and learn, basically. That's kind of the whole thing about that. But
Yeah, I don't have much to add in this department. On my nose, I'm a lone wolf still trying to figure out some things. I think through I definitely can. I've seen it in Omar. Obviously, been through the ups and downs, and I feel for this guy. He doesn't deserve some of the things that have occurred to him. But through it, as he's saying, like it kind of refines who you're looking for, and like in my perspective, I don't know. I feel probably have a false sense of like who or what I'm looking for, and like until that shows up in somebody, like ain't no reason to force things with people it won't work out with. But that could be naive in my own perspective. But yeah,
Nah, I don't think that's naive, man. Like if you're looking for something specific, just keep searching for that person. Eventually in your life, you're gonna find something like that. And if you don't, you're gonna find something close. There's no reason to settle down for someone that you'll never be happy if you settle.
yeah, I appreciate that, Trev.
There you go.
Yeah. One kind of funny thing, I was talking to a buddy about this, but again, like countering my perspective with stuff. We came up with the analogy, how like restaurants are like, we use sub sandwiches for it. Hear me out, because this will be a little abstract, but it's like a good analogy. He was talking about how you need like punches on like a sandwich card, and like the free one you get at the end is like what's meant to be. We're like, you gotta sample the menu and like figure things out. Like, I don't like this type of bread. I don't like this combo of meats, like obviously metaphorically. But like, do you think that's accurate in both your guys' experiences with relationships where like you got to test the menu out to know what you want? Or if you're just like walking into a new restaurant and you're like, I'm a big, I don't know, like ham and Swiss dude. I hate ham and Swiss, but just an example. Like, if you know what you're going for, like, do you just try that sandwich first, or like go after one type of relationship? Or do you see like there's value in like Trev, I know it's like a social thing, getting out of your comfort zone, being an extrovert. Is there value in like chancing or like trying relationships to like see what things are like to figure yourself out?
I was never the kind of dude to sleep around or have
not like that. I'm not saying like intimately or like physically, but like emotionally.
Yeah, I think
I'm not talking about like that. Yeah, no, but I mean, if you want to talk about that, go for it.
There you go. There you go.
I know what you're saying. And I think you can kind of narrow that menu down by determining what kind of things you like and what kind of things you don't. If you look at like a ham and cheese sandwich with olives and tomatoes. I hate olives and tomatoes, so I'm never gonna get that sandwich. So there's no point in buying it because I know I'm not gonna like it. Gotcha. I think you can really narrow something down, and there's a good reason to pick and choose. But personally, I don't think there's a point of going into a relationship that's not gonna last. And I know people kind of disagree with that. It's good to experience different kinds of things, but I've always been the kind of guy to date to marry kind of deal.
I don't get that mentality.
Yeah, I don't see the point of getting into a relationship just to know that it's going to end in heartbreak. I've never really liked that. And I've always searched for people who I see a future with and I see a commitment with. I don't have commitment issues. Some people do because of past trauma and everything. And that's okay. But I like to commit to something if I do it. And I wanted to be able to truly commit to somebody if I start dating them. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. That's fine. But I would like to see it work out. I would like for it to go somewhere. I don't want to spend all this money, spend all this time, and in heartbreak. Just experience is valuable, but what was that experience worth in the long run? Yeah, I've had my experience with Hannah ended up with me becoming a completely different person. And that was a very valuable experience that I had. But if I were just to date someone for a few months and just be like, this is dumb, what do you really learn out of that? What do you get out of it?
Oh, that's true.
It is good.
I appreciate hearing that out of you, because I feel like that mentality is not like a minority in regards to just like, but when I've had talks with guys, like it definitely seems like I'm the oddball out. So
date to marry.
I appreciate hearing that.
Definitely good.
What's your take on the odd analogy that I threw out there? But
well, no, it's good. I mean, like I said, it's live and learn. You learn I think it is good to like date to marry. That's my also like my. I'm not gonna go in and know I'm gonna date a girl for a couple months and be like, oh, I'm gonna break up with her after 3 months. Like, I want to like if I'm gonna date you, I could probably see a future with you. That's good though. But like I said, every relationship, if it doesn't work out, you live and learn what you like, what you don't like in a relationship. But yeah, me personally, Trevor knows. There was like my girl who I was dating sophomore year. It hurt like when we broke up because I thought, and Braden knows this too. When we broke up, like because I thought I was gonna marry this girl. It ended very poorly, just like how things transpired. And then Trevor knows too, with being at school with me. Like I kind of had that wall up for like 2 years, and I wouldn't really open up to girls like just like on emotional level, just because of what happened in that situation. I didn't really feel comfortable doing that. But yeah, Trevor really helped me through it. Braden really helped me through it. Kind of like break those walls down. Now I'm in a good relationship. I'm very happy where I am right now with the girl I'm with.
Shout out Trinity.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, shout out Trinity. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, it live and learn. When relationships end, especially if you think you're going to marry the girl, it sucks. But yeah, there's always what's that saying? There's always like another sunshine over the rainbow, whatever. It's always the grass is always green on the other side.
I don't always want to lean with that one, but I get what you're saying.
Some bullshit like that.
Yeah,
It's all some stuff like that. But
the sun always rises.
So something like that. Yeah, something like that. Some BS thing, but yeah. But yeah, it's good. Like I think the main takeaway from relationships, if it doesn't work out, don't hang your head over it. Live and learn. Learn what you like in your past relationship. Learn what you don't like in your past relationship, and then just move on. It'll take a little while, but just move on. Yeah, which is good. But yeah, Genevieve, though, here's a big question. I'm just gonna ask anyways.
No warning.
No warning.
Just go into it.
I think I know the answer to this, but do you guys see yourself tying the knot in the next 3 years or no? Like maybe if you had to put like, I don't know, like a couple years or like maybe another like 7, I don't know. When you guys kind of seeing yourself settle down a little bit? Because I know we're still young, but also
marrying. So
yeah. Because like I mean nowadays, like we're young, but like nowadays, like
people get married crazy
they're like
young, especially in
young.
Michigan.
Yeah,
Michigan people are kind of crazy, in my opinion. I have probably a dozen friends that are married.
Well, even from
married before graduating college.
Even from our high school too, there's a couple people that are already married, and I'm
good for them, but like they're crazy.
It's good, but like me personally, like I want to make sure I have like a full-time steady job first, my own house, and then we could kind of talk about. But like for you, what do you kind of think? I don't know if you guys talked about this with Genevieve, but like with you personally, where do you
personal question? It
is, yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about it, and it's funny you say it because all of my friends are talking about getting married at like 25, 27. Yeah, like they want to wait. You know, I don't want to wait. Like I don't mind marrying her. You know, like I want to, and they say when they settle down, like they want to wait till they get a house, like you were saying, Omar, like financially steady, this and that. But when you truly find that person you love, like, you know, what's the point of waiting?
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't mind committing, and with Genevieve, I do not mind committing at all. Like I see myself marrying her.
Yeah, she's an awesome girl.
Yeah, I see myself marrying her. So what's the point of waiting 3 years? What's the point of moving in and just not doing anything with it? If you're really into somebody, what's the problem with committing? I really love this girl, man. Like I really love her. So
yeah, that'd be cool.
I don't see the point in waiting 3-4 years until we get married. Like I can see it happening soon because like I know how I feel about her. I know what I see about my future. Like we've talked about it. Like I see it. So I don't see any problem in getting married soon.
That wedding is gonna be awesome.
That wedding is gonna be awesome, man. I look forward to it.
Please have like an open bar and it'll be fun. It'll be a fun time. Do you guys think, I don't know if you guys thought about this, but I've like thought about this. Not just like, because I mean, I personally, it's just me. I know a lot of people are different, but like I probably want to get married around like 27, 28. I think that's a good like standpoint, like age.
Can I ask you why you want to wait until?
Yeah, it's just because like, money wise,
on your age.
What'd you say?
And like, why you have a set date on your age? Like, why
It's just
20?
because like financially, I guess, because I mean, like, I don't even have my own house yet, like not even my own apartment yet. So I want to make sure like I could kind of get that. And especially like I'm doing freelance graphic design right now. So it's not a set yearly income. It all depends on how many clients I have. Like I could have a
But
lot.
what does income have to do with marriage? Like, I can see it with a baby, but what does it have to
Yeah.
do with
Fire
marriage?
questions, Trevor.
That is a good question.
Keep
Ooh,
it
let's
firing.
see. Yeah, hit me. Let's see. I don't know. It's just, yeah, I don't know. My parents would fucking kill me. You guys know my mom. She would kill me and whoever I'm with right now. Yeah, she would.
If you're saying if you got married before getting,
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
you wouldn't make it to the wedding day.
Oh, I wouldn't.
You'd be in
No,
the
no, no.
coffin.
Yeah, you guys know. Yeah, especially Brayden knows my mom. God, I would not
Your
make.
mom's nice. Come on now.
But like when it comes to this, you.
Okay, go back to the income thing, because or like what does income mean to you and the person you care about?
Well, it's just that. I mean, like, I want to be able to make sure I could support her financially. I want to be able to make sure I could support myself at first, like, especially like I said, I don't even have my own apartment. I don't even have my own place right now. I'm working on it. Hoping the next coming months I'll get my own apartment. You'll have to come check it out.
I'd love it.
That's right. But yeah, I mean, I want to have this, like, I think it's good to have like a set steady income, a full-time job before you kind of just so you could support them, because I mean right now, like I'm making enough to support myself, yeah, I take Trinity out, we go out for dinners and stuff, but like marriage is just, that's a different, like, so I mean, yeah, that's just me personally.
So in this question, I'm not a feminist by any means, but do you not think a woman should be able to support herself in a sense in marriage?
I think they should be able to support themselves.
So when it comes down to the fact that you don't want to get married because you need to be able to financially support yourself and your partner, how does that make sense when
she's still in school? She's still in school too, and so she can't like support a whole, because I mean she's got what's it called? Not dues. What am I? Student loan. Yeah, I'm stupid. She's got student loans and she's got to pay all the stuff back and everything, like right now, because I think she's got with her program she's still got a couple more years left. So I mean that's why. But I mean, that's just me personally.
I understand your point of view,
Yeah.
but with me, when you're marrying someone, you're marrying their commitments, you're marrying their debts.
Yeah.
You should be able to work it out. That shouldn't be something that you should have problems with. Like, if financial stability, I understand, is an important aspect in life. But when you're dealing with your partner, you guys should be able to support each other, regardless of what your income is right now. If you have to marry this girl and then live with your parents for a year or something, just to make sure you guys are financially steady, marriage is a commitment rather than a financial, like extravaganza, whatever you want to call it. Like weddings are kind of expensive, but I mean, when it comes down to it, like,
yeah,
that's on the bride. Yeah,
that's right.
That's on the wife.
Yeah,
Right.
the parents. That's right.
Right. So when you get married, man, it's not about marrying money. It's about marrying someone you want to deal with life with.
Yeah.
If you're going to marry someone and you're worried about financial stability, are you marrying for the right reasons? You want to marry someone you want to deal with that financial problems with, rather than worrying about financial problems before you get married.
Yeah.
No,
What's your
that's true.
opinion about that?
No, I'm in the mindset. So like, I don't know, my parents didn't marry until 29. Dated for like 7 years, had me 1 year into marriage.
Nice.
My dad was in medical school all the way through 31 with his residency. So like our income was kind of pinched, but they still like dated throughout college and stayed together the entire time. But they both lived at their parents' houses, saving up financially to kind of put themselves and my current family in our situation where we're at today. So I think a lot of sacrifices and consideration. So like financially, like I was going to go into financial advisory. Like we did a lot of case studies and like research, like financial distress is like the #1 cause of marital issues. So like, it's not something that needs to be overlooked, but I totally get your point with it, Trev, that it's about more than money and like that person and kind of joining each other and becoming one, all the good and the bad, all the debts and the riches, like all parts of it. And there's a beauty to that. But for me personally, as far as like, I wouldn't say I have a time frame on it. Like I am so far from me. Like I have not met a person that has like made me consider a long-term future other than one girl throughout college, but like that didn't go anywhere. But it taught me, it set a good standard of like what I'm at. Like to me, like that's like the floor and we're climbing up from here. Like, But aside from that, I'm with you, Trevor. Like, I wouldn't put an age on it, but I'm in a middle ground because, like, as
Yeah.
Omar said, like,
Well,
I wanna
also like
be-
with mine, like I mean, I'm not dead set. It's just like
yeah.
that's just like, you know, like like I know I'm not gonna get married. Just me personally, like in the next year.
Mhm.
That's just me.
I want to
like,
be
I know that.
financially set because I
Yeah.
realize what money can afford you as far as just like
Yeah.
freedom and opportunity. Not money as itself, not as an end, but like a means to whatever you want to do together. So like I value it, but at the same time, like shit, if I was driving down to UIC and I bumped into some girl and started talking, like that time frame of a year, 2 years into a relationship, maybe I'm not
Oh.
in the financial whereabouts that I'd like to be. But if I'm ready to like commit, then I'm open to it. But one question, or I'll let you respond to that. But I wanted to fire a question back at you, Trev, because I wanted to get your take on something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so you asked a really good question to Omar about like what does finances have to do with marriage, and you talking through things, and I get what marriage represents, and like I don't know, Omar and I are both religious people. If you're religious or not, doesn't matter. But marriage does have a like there's a higher level commitment to it than just
Yeah.
dating somebody.
Yeah.
But like to me, so if you like, for an example, with my parents, like they were together for 7 years, like they knew, and other people are like this. I know couples, but like financially, they couldn't justify having kids or living with each other until their financial means were set because my dad was paying for school. He's still paying for school. I don't think he's paid off his loans yet. Like it's just like a slow thing. But as far as marriage, like I get what it represents, but at the same time, like marriage is just a label. So like if you have that relationship with somebody and like that commitment's already there, I don't support never marrying. Like I know some people who are 50 who have kids and just like never get married because they're just like lazy or whatever. But like why, like is marriage itself super important? Like say if you and Genevieve are super close and like what's separating you guys from living a life like a couple than just like the title of marriage? So like do you see like I kind of danced around the question I was trying to ask.
I get what you're saying.
But like
I
as far as like what do finances
Yeah.
have to do with marriage? Like what does marriage have to do with a good relationship at our age?
I think you can have a very solid relationship without marriage. But to me, marriage isn't just a label. Marriage is something different. And I am religious, to bring that back to the
Okay.
fact. I'm a Christian.
Appreciate that.
And I was raised in a Christian household, and that's a whole separate topic that we could go over, but I'm sure we
I have
can
a question about with that next after you
Yeah,
answer
keep
this.
going.
I got a question with
Okay.
that. Yeah, with the whole
Um,
Christian thing.
But marriage to me is not just a label. I think, you know, with the kind of values that I have, the loyalty that I have, I see marriage as a true commitment to somebody. Like when you're in just a relationship, you can break up at any point. There's no problems, whatever. It's just, you know, it's a regular relationship. You break up, but with marriage, it's really showing that you care. It's really showing that you're committed to somebody. And I want to show her that I'm committed. I want to be in a relationship where we can go through these super low paths, whatever we go through. And I want her to know that I'm always going to be by her side, no matter what. I don't ever plan on getting divorced. When I marry someone, I'm going to stay married. And, you know, people get married and then get divorced. Like, what is it? 50% divorce rate nowadays.
So,
It's
yeah,
high.
it's high. It
Yeah,
might be
the highest
even.
ever been.
Yeah, it's high.
It's ridiculous. And I feel like marriage has like actually become a label. I feel like with our society today, that marriage has just become almost something that is like the next step in a relationship, not just like marriage. Like
The end of it,
it's
just like a little, like that next
like,
step. It's not
like, oh, you guys are married? That's crazy. But sleep with me anyway. Like that ring doesn't mean anything, you know?
yeah.
Like that's kind of ridiculous at this point. Like society has really ruined marriage. But in my perspective, I don't see it that way. And that's why, you know, I think people can have strong relationships and not get married, but I see it personally as something that I'm truly committed to, and it's the next step of my life rather than the next step of a relationship.
Yeah.
Do you think
great response?
Do you think the divorce rate is the highest it's ever been because I think it's like the age wise, it's been like the lowest. So I mean, however that wording, like it's been the lowest people are getting married. Like so, I mean, like low 20s.
The
age of marriage is like
decreasing.
is decreasing while the divorce rate is increasing. Do you think that has something to do like a correlation between each other?
You know, in a way, I do. I think people like I've been saying, like society really has kind of diminished the meaning of marriage, and so maybe younger people get married not knowing what they're getting into and then regret what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that will lead to divorce. But then you also see 40-year-olds are getting married for like the third or fourth time, whatever, and they
Sometimes
still
they just get at that age, like at that, they just want someone to die with. At that, like at that point,
That's morbid to think about.
well,
That's terrible.
it's
sometimes
morbid, but it's true.
it's true. Like if they're 40 or 50, 60, like on their fifth,
Senior citizen Tinder, they just want to die.
they just
together.
want someone to die with. They just want some. It sounds bad, but it's true. In some cases, it's true.
Right. I feel like the correlation between the divorce rate and the younger ages, it makes sense. People start committing to something that they're not truly committed to. And I think people who are old still commit to someone who they're not really committed to. So I feel like marriage in itself is just kind of diminished over time, and it doesn't really mean as much as it used to. So, I understand the correlation, and even though I'm young and I still plan on getting married, like I don't want to be that person that ends up in a divorce. And I'm sure a lot of people still kind of say that, but at the same time, like, do they really mean it? And I would like to ask those people that question, like, did you really mean it when you married that person? Like, were you truly committed? And if it ends in a divorce, then to me, you're not truly committed to that person, because then you wouldn't have gotten a divorce.
Yeah. I got a kind of big question. I know this is in like different religions and stuff, it kind of plays a part, but also just like the traditional way of marriage and like kind of switching to nowadays. A big topic that I've kind of got into not arguments with, but like kind of just like
Good
good discussions is do you think you should be married before like after you move in with someone? Because I know the traditional way is to wait till you're married and then move in with them. Like I know like a lot of like traditional parents think that way. What do you kind of I'll kind of say what I think, and then Brandon kind of say, what do you kind of think with that? Do you think people should be married before they move in together, or do you think they should test it out a little bit? Because I mean, no matter like in a relationship, if you move in with someone, it's no matter if you see them every day for a couple hours, it's different than like living with them 24/7, coming home from a long work day. So it is different. So where do you kind of stand with that? Do you think you should test it out a little, not test it out, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like live with them first before you get married? Or do you think you should get married first and then move in with someone?
It's funny you bring this topic up, because I've been having the same discussion with Genevieve, because my parents are super against it.
See, it's the parents. See, there's like do they want you to be married before?
My mom is dead set on me getting married before someone, or at least engaged, is what she says.
Yeah.
Personally, I do not agree with that.
I'm with you on that. I think that you should not, it sounds bad wording wise, like testing it out, but like it's, like just kind of like seeing if you guys like can mesh, because I mean it is, it's different living with someone 24/7, seeing them constantly, like what, how they might act a little different. It's just, so I'm with you on that like I think you should live with each other for a little bit before, but I know my parents, and then also like my girlfriend's parents, they are on the way other side. They're like, you are not moving in together until you like are engaged or married.
Right. That's how my mom is. My dad's on the same side, but he's always kind of let me do whatever I decide to do. He's respected that, but my mom is really against that.
Yeah.
And I understand where she's coming from, and there's some religious aspects that go into it. There's some kind of older generation aspects that go into it, and I've talked to her about it, and really she says it's a commitment thing, and she's like, you move in with someone, you're not really committed, then all these problems happen, but I don't think it's for her perspective. I really don't think it's just that. Like I've told her multiple times, like I'm committed to this person. I want to do this kind of stuff with this person. But there's problems that you can have when you move in with a girlfriend. Let's say you move in with a girlfriend, you have both your names on the lease, then you break up, and then all of a sudden you're stuck in a lease, right? And then you're kind of screwed. Like you're either going to pay and be in a room with your ex-girlfriend, which would just be miserable, or you pay and then live somewhere else, and then you got double rent, which is just as bad. So I understand it, but what you were saying, it really is kind of like a good a good way to determine whether the guys would be compatible as roommates.
See, like
you
it
know?
sounds bad with the word like testing it out, but like it's
It
seeing like
really
you said,
is.
like determining like if you guys can actually do this.
Well, yeah, like you can live with your best friend and then you'll get in massive arguments and just hate each other.
Oh yeah, I can't live with my like Braden knows Nate. Like we tried living together for 1 year in college, my sophomore year. He's my best friend. We couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Right. I lived with Hunter for 2 years. Hunter's been, for people who don't know, Hunter was like been one of my best friends since elementary school. I met that kid in elementary school. We lived together and we got in massive arguments. We got in arguments. We had our disagreements. Hunter was messy. I was clean, but it was still fun living with him. I had a great time living with them. And no matter how many arguments we had, we still ended up as really amazing friends, best friends after it was all over. I can see the same thing as marriage. You move in with someone, you have all these arguments, you have all these problems, but at the end of the day, you guys are still together. And that's how I see marriage. That's where the commitment thing comes in. You're committed to someone, you'll still be together at the end. For me, I love Genevieve. I know I'm committed to her. So no matter how many arguments we have while we're living together, I know we're gonna stay together and I know we're gonna end up getting married, which is my argument to my mom. But clearly she has her disagreements.
Yeah.
But that's how I see it. I lived through it with one of my best friends, Hunter, and we got through it. Me and Hunter talk all the time. Like we're still amazing friends. Like we never had a problem, even though we lived together. And I feel like that really does correlate within a relationship that you're actually committed to. If you're not actually committed to it, it might become problems. But
What about you? What do you what's your
my
opinion
take on
about
that
that?
whole thing, I would lean more towards on the side of both of you guys. Just connecting it again to relationship, just with like a friend, like a guy friend, like similar to both you guys were talking about. Living with somebody that you're super close with in high school and college for a year, like we're still super close, and like he's an awesome guy, and like always enjoy spending time with him. But at the same time, it's like there's little things that you wouldn't think would kind of like get at each other both ways. Cause like I know I had excessive habits that frustrated him a little bit, and he did with me as well, or just like I don't know, get into like little bickerings, and like it kind of opens your eyes to what you perceive through limited exposure as like a very, very solid, stable, like nothing can disrupt it, friendship and relationship. And then through constant interaction and actually like existing together, you kind of, I don't know, butt heads a little bit.
Yeah,
And it's eye-opening, and kind of like what you were saying, Trev, with like making that commitment and promising yourself to get through whatever comes up. Again, like with marriage, that's like taking it the next level. It's not just like some guys who lives within college, but just connecting those two ideas. Yeah, when you don't have that level of commitment, like some things can get to you, and you kind of can chalk it up as, hey, we're not compatible to like live together, which I think that, again, like I like your argument. When you know you're set on getting married, it doesn't matter if you're engaged or married. Like if you guys both have that mentality, I don't think there's an issue. Not with your example, or Omar and his girlfriend, like whoever, or me with my future. Like it's good to give yourself exposure to like what reality is when being married, before just like having all these like glorious ideas of it and then freaking moving in together. And
no marriage is perfect. No marriage is perfect.
No relationship, nothing's ever going to be perfect. But again,
it's healthy if you guys argue.
It's good. It's good to have some healthy arguments initially before things like get extremely, obviously it's a serious commitment, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And the whole like traditional view of things, like I respect it. And like, I don't know, our generation's a little different for the good and a lot of bad, to be honest with you. I get frustrated a lot with people our age, but that perspective on relationships and moving in together before marriage, I'm not opposed to, if it's done with respect and like the right intention. If it's to spend more time together, to mess around and like do some stuff and have your own place, like that's not what it's for. But if it's to really, really get close with each other and kind of learn what it's like to live together, then I think it's an appropriate step.
It's just those parents. A lot of parents are very dead set. I'm like, man,
it's a serious topic. It's just like you've been saying.
It's a serious
big deal. It's a life commitment, so it's something that shouldn't be taken lightly. And but yeah, that's a good question, Omar.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because like I was out to lunch with one of my friends from high school. And she's been in a relationship, I think 4 years with her boyfriend. And it's a whole thing. She brought this question up because they want to move in together, but her dad is like dead set on not letting him do that before marriage. And so that's why I kind of brought it up. Like, I was like, I never really thought about this until like she brought it up. And I was like, oh, like this is actually like interesting topic, like that a lot of people disagree on. So it's a cool thing. But yeah, I mean, honestly, best of luck. I know you and Genevieve you guys are perfect because you guys are both awesome, knowing you guys for a pretty long time. So yeah, it's definitely looking forward to seeing you guys again. And you got to make a trip out here just kind of in the next couple months. So
Oh, I would love to, man. I can't wait to come back out there.
yeah, it's gonna be a good time. And then I got a surprise for you too. I'm getting a half sleeve done next month.
Oh, you're getting that next month?
Yeah,
I know
March.
you were talking about that. You were talking
Yeah.
about that a couple
Yep.
episodes ago too. Man.
March
I'm excited to
March
see that.
11th is my first appointment. So I'm getting the forearm done first. So yeah, you have to see that one. Yeah.
How long is it gonna take to get done?
So I got the whole design. The guy, my tattoo guy said it's probably gonna take like 3 or 4 sessions. So I mean, we'll see how long, we'll see how many sessions, and then it's another thing. Money, it's gonna cost a pretty penny, but I mean, it's gonna be sick.
It is gonna be sick, man. You told
yeah.
me about your idea, so I'm excited to see.
Yeah, it'll be cool. And then you guys, yeah, you can see that once you guys come up here. But yeah, we'll make sure we'll all get together. I'll let Braden know when you guys are out here, so we'll get a time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Right.
it'll be cool. But I mean, yeah, I don't have anything.
Any closing thoughts
Yeah.
you want to leave
Anything-
our audience with, or some messages out there?
Yeah, I'll just do this little closing statement. I'm just gonna put something together. From the summary from what we've discussed, I think just between work and relationships and whatever you decide throughout your past, like throughout your life, whatever. Really, what I've learned is you really just gotta do what you want, man. Like I've been I don't want to just be like humble or whatever. I've been a very selfless person through most of my life. I've done a lot of things for other people, whether it's doing my job, sticking with my job because I'm loyal to my friend, not moving in with my girlfriend, kind of taking it slow because of my parents. And, you base a lot of major decisions on other people. I don't know if I'm the only one who's ever done that. But there's got to be a point in your life where you got to be a little selfish. You got to do some self-reflecting. You got to build, and you got to realize what you really want in life. And I think selflessness is a very good personality trait to have. But you got to come to a point where you got to determine what you really want. You got to stop doing what other people want and really figure it out for yourself, and then make a decision. Because eventually you're going to have regrets in life, and eventually you're going to think, what if, what could have been. But it's really important just to kind of be selfish in major decisions in life, because otherwise you never know where you're going to end up, and you don't know if you're going to be happy or not. I'm happy where I'm at, but
Awesome.
Boom.
got to be careful.
Yeah.
That's right. That was good. Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, we had a great conversation. Yeah, got to catch up a little bit with the fraternity life. Talked about work and construction, and then yeah, big talk about relationships because we haven't talked about that yet on the show. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, thank you for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you out here in Chicago. I think we're talking April around there. We were saying you guys would come out. So yeah, we'll definitely stay in touch with that.
Yeah, definitely let me know when you're in town. We can hoop over at my place and hang out and have a good time together.
Yeah, make sure you bring your shoes too, because Brady's got a court.
I
So.
will.
Yeah.
It sounds awesome, guys. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah. All right, man. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you later.
All right, have a good one.
All right, peace.